Hello, this is Alfonso speaking from CXO Software. We are just about to start today's webinar. We're just waiting for a couple of other folks, so we're just logging into the system to join. So if I could just ask for your patience just for one more moment. Okay, I think we're ready to begin. So hopefully everybody can see the screen. CXO Software, Financial Business Intelligence. Let's go to the first slide in our presentation today. So why are we presenting today? We're going to look at a new way of financial reporting, connecting Oracle HFM to CXO, and why that would be beneficial to the audience listening to this webinar today. So today's speakers, over on the left-hand side, that is myself, Alfonso Colanino. I'm the Regional Director responsible for customers and new business across the UK and the Nordics, and I'm going to take the first part of today's session. I've invited along Marcel. He's our product manager, and he's going to share with you how we connect to HFM and how that functionally works. And then I've also invited along Jean-Pierre, who is very similar to myself in terms of new business and sales across the European region. And he's going to share with you a little overview in terms of some supporting information as to why CXO is beneficial on top of HFM, and then give you a little demonstration. So let's look at the agenda in a little bit more detail. It's going to be 30 minutes, so not too long. What I'd like to do is just advise you, if you have any questions, there is a little chat box. Please pop them into the chat box and we'll take those right at the end if we have a little bit of time. If we don't, we will answer them by email direct to yourselves or the rest of the audience if you're interested. So what are we going to do? The second bullet point is essentially the challenge. What is the reporting challenge on top of data in HFM? Then we'll go into connecting HFM to CXO. As I say, we'll look at some independent research. Then we'll do a live demo of the solution, and then hopefully we'll take those questions and answers. So let's jump straight into what the challenge is and the starting point essentially for all of our HFM customers. And typically the image in the background is very interesting. We tend to find most organizations globally are doing month-end reporting or any kind of management or executive reporting. It tends to be, as the image describes, a printed set of documentation, which is either from Excel, PDF, or PowerPoint. But how do those users get to that particular position? So let's just think about the traditional HFM reporting process. Data may be stored in multiple data sources, and there are a number of different examples on the left-hand side, from ERP systems, possibly planning systems, data warehouse, etc. And all of that data is generally then consolidated into the HFM environment. And from that, we tend to find that the Office of Finance typically likes to extract the data via SmartView into the world of Excel. Now, a question mark is generally, well, within HFM or the Oracle suite, there tends to be many BI tools, not just in the Oracle suite, but you can see on the screen here we've got OBIEE. There's also external solutions that may be within your organization like Tableau, Click, Power BI. I guess we tend to find that most organizations within the finance team tend not to use the generic BI tools for financial reporting on top of HFM because of the difficulty in trying to connect to HFM and read the hierarchical structure and the dimensions from HFM. And also BI tools tend to be used traditionally for operational reporting and not financial reporting. So back to my story in terms of the Office of Finance have now dropped the data from HFM into an Excel spreadsheet. And then the process from then on in is typically a very manual process, which is managing the formula, managing collecting commentary and the difficulties of collecting commentary within a manual process. And the output is, as we've described, emailed versions of that document, which could be in PowerPoint, it could be in Word, it could be in Excel. And the drawbacks associated with this process are, as I've said, static stack of paper. You can't drill into a number, you can't search within it, you can't ask any questions of the commentary if it's already been added. So it's a very manual, cumbersome process, which is very error prone. And what we want to do is reduce the time it takes from the data through to the information being available. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through CXO, Digital Performance Reporting. And so this view on the screen that we're just building up now is showing you how CXO can actually improve that process. You're going to have data within your HFM environments, and what we want to do is bring that data into CXO software. How we do that, I'm going to, as I say, pass on to my colleague in a couple of moments, Marcel, who will explain how do we go about getting data into CXO. But the value of CXO is over on the right-hand side, and you can see a number of different icons explaining how we've solved some of the challenges I described in the previous slide. So automating the report pack creation, we're going to show you what we call a storyboard and how we automate that process. Another very interesting area for CXO and quite unique is the commentary collection workflow. So the ability to collect a piece of narrative, whether it's in line on a particular dashboard or a financial statement, or whether it's at the overall dashboard itself, and roll that up to the group level. So that's something that's very interesting for organizations. And you can see some of the other items here, and hopefully if we have time in the demonstration, we'll be able to share these with you. So moving forward, let's look at now how we connect to HFM and Hyperion. I'm going to hand over to Marcel. Marcel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Over to you, sir.
Yes, okay, thank you, Alfonso. So indeed, I'm going to explain how we actually connect with CXO to HFM. And the way how we do that is by making use of our CXO adapter, our integration adapter. What we do with CXO is that we connect to the HFM database, and it can either be an SQL database or an Oracle database. And we then extract the information from HFM, and we put that into our CXO cube, which is an SSAS cube. The information that we extract is the hierarchies of the different dimensions that you have in HFM, as well as the data. And what you extract is actually up to you. So you can decide per dimension what the level of detail is you would like to extract. For instance, you can decide whether you want to extract your ICP data or not. You can decide whether you want to extract all your entity hierarchies or only certain sub-hierarchies. And you can also decide whether you would like to extract up until the base level, for instance, of your account dimension. It's really up to you, and you really have to think about what you need for reporting, and that is what you extract. The way how we extract can be done in two ways. It can be done manually. Then you just click on a button and we extract the information to CXO. But we can also make use of real-time sync. That actually means that CXO checks the HFM database, and whenever there is a change there, it will put that change into CXO. In the end, you can also decide how much data you would like to extract. So it can be either, for instance, 5 years of data, or maybe only your current year of data together with your forecast. On the right side, you also see our SQL repository. That repository is the repository we use for storing our report definitions and also the settings of our application. So why CXO is the top ranking platform for HFM? Well, we use our HFM adapter, which comes when you buy our package. It instantly reads the data and metadata for HFM, and you can manually or load, or you can use the real-time sync to load the data. When you extract the metadata and the data, we extract all the dimension hierarchies, member properties, for instance, whether an account is a revenue or an expense account, as well as the UDAs. Those types of information can be reused within CXO. Because we actually extracted data of HFM and put it into our own cube, there is no extra load on the HFM systems by the CXO users. So whenever they open up a report, we just query the data from our own cube, and there's no extra load on the HFM system. Another advantage of CXO is that we make use of MDX for calculations. We can make advanced calculations by making use of the MDX query language, which is a language of Microsoft. And you can make the calculations that you also make in Excel. So for example, you can calculate certain KPIs that are not available in HFM, but you can also calculate your 12-month rolling averages or your year-on-year growth. All is possible in CXO. We also use MDX for building dynamic lists. An example of that one is, for instance, our ranking list. You can create a top 10 of, for instance, your entity, or a bottom 10 of your entity dimension. And every time when you open up a report, it is automatically ranked by CXO. I will now hand over to Jean-Pierre.
Okay, thank you very much, Marcel, for giving us some more insight on the connectivity of CXO to HFM, or the other way around, which is a very important piece of our solution. So for the remaining part of our presentation, I'm going to share with you quickly some research that has been done by an independent consultant from Metavero at Kscope 2017, which, as you might know, is one of the key Oracle events in the USA. And I'm quickly going to go through what, in this case, John Booth presented on stage about a research that he'd done, in this case, to connect to Hyperion Essbase, which is fairly similar to the way that we connect to HFM. And he compared Tableau, Oracle BI, and CXO versus each other from the performance perspective, the prettiness, and just the ease of use, etc. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. If you want to, we can share his complete review with you, but I'm just going to hover over a couple of takeaways. So Tableau, very, very beautiful product, and we believe that Tableau, but also Qlik and Power BI are really good products, but they're just simply not made to connect properly to finance tools like Hyperion. So some drawbacks that he came up with, basically the same goes for OBIE, but in a different way. Lots of flexibility, lots of possibilities with OBIE, but very, very techy, very IT managed. And his takeaway on CXO, and again, this was done by an independent researcher, is that the connectivity was good, it was easy, high level of flexibility, and very suitable for finance people to maintain the software. So we were very happy about that research. In closing, that was basically what it came down to. Again, we can share this with you if you are interested. On Kscope 2018, so a year later, we were part of that fair as well, and MNG, one of our customers, presented their own research that they had done prior to acquiring CXO software. So this is their own internal research that they've done, looking at a solution that could help them to improve their reporting from their Hyperion product stack. And again, we can share this with you. So they've done extensive research on the ease of integration, the support of the multidimensionality, the graphical capabilities, the commentary, the multi-source connectivity, and the ease of reporting creation and the maintenance of that. So as you can see, their conclusion was that CXO ticked all the boxes and that all the other vendors had challenges in either of these capabilities. So again, we can share this with you as well. Finally, before we're going to go into the demo, CXO software has been around for the last 11 years. We were founded in 2007, and in the meantime, we service and support over 100 customers on a global basis. We will share this with you as well, so you can quickly or at your own pace look at all the logos that are on our website. On the right top side, we also have 30 reviews on the Gartner Peer Insight platform about CXO software, and we're very proud to get a 4.9 out of 5 stars from our customers in that platform. All these customers, and I think over half of them have HFM as their backbone, we're looking to face and to solve the challenge of how do we get rid of the manual process of producing the month-end reporting to our executive team and the other stakeholders. How do we change that into an automated process and provide them with something more interactive than PowerPoint and PDF? So we're very proud as a company that we have onboarded all these nice companies, and hopefully you'll be one of our customers in the future. The live demo. Let's quickly go into some details of our solution. So I'm opening up a Google Chrome browser here, but CXO can be run from any other browser that is your standard, and it's a typical zero footprint piece of software. So the only thing we need is a connectivity with the server where cxo-cockpit is installed on, and then with a browser, without having to install any additional components, your end user can run cxo-cockpit. Just to make the screen a bit bigger so you can also see the commenting box at the bottom, I'm going to take you through some of the highlights of our demo. So at the top, you can see the logo. This can be the logo of your own company, of course. Then we'll see the menu, the title of the report, which can also have a subtitle specifically for that report if you want to. And then we see the point of view, which are basically the dimensions from your underlying HFM model. And then below the point of view, we have the report itself. And the report itself can have different visuals, different setups, which I'm going to share with you as well during this demo. So let's start with our homepage. You see the tiles. If I hover over them, you see some more background on the actual data behind those tiles, which is gives you a quick view of your KPIs and how they are performing for this particular period and this particular year as well. But let's not spend too much time on that. I want to spend some time in the tabular part of the report. And this is good. So you can also see that my timing was set to, I think, 10 minutes. So now I need to log back in. But you can also see it's very simple to log back in as an end user. So there's no, there's a way that we can just maintain the passwords in the back so your executives don't have to really worry about logging in. It's all securely stored within our application using Active Directory. So again, let's quickly look at, for instance, the direct cost. If I highlight that line, we'll see more information on the right side of the screen about direct costs, and in the graph as well, where if we want to, can zoom in further on some details in the graph. And by hovering over these bars, we can see the actual numbers coming from HFM. You can also see the drill capability within direct cost in this case. And this is a very powerful thing, which kind of relates back to what Marcel said, that we pick up all your metadata and data directly from HFM. So that means that if in your HFM application, underneath total compensation, you determine that salaries and payroll are, we're going to add a third account bonus in there, then the next time you would open up this drill we will follow that structure in the report as well. So the bonus account will be shown here by default. So there's nothing you need to do to show that in the report. So you don't need to copy and paste bonus in all your Excel sheets to make sure that they are compliant to your structure in HFM. No, CXO picks that up automatically through the native connector that we have developed. So that's a very important piece. So besides the drill down, which of course is a very nice feature for our end users to interactively communicate with the data, the drill down is also very dynamically set up with your underlying source system. So I can also drill or click on salaries, get more data on salaries. And if I want to, I can also set up the report to show more details, in this case on salaries for Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina, which is my breakdown in the entity structure. Of course, if I highlight, for instance, operating income, then it will show operating income. We also have a capability of entering non-finance KPIs into our system. That's something we didn't highlight during the first part of the presentation, but this FTE KPI could come from another system that we can also show in the same dashboard as the HFM data. So we also have capability of loading non-finance data into a CXO dashboard. Having said that, I don't want to spend an awful lot of time on the homepage further. The interesting piece here is that we can, of course, change the point of view as well. That goes for any report. So again, we pick up the categories from your underlying HFM model. And if I then select forecast, then the whole report will be built around forecast data instead of budgeted data. If I want to drill into my point of view, I can also do that from an entity structure perspective, go to South America, drill on Brazil, for instance, and then we see all the data from Brazil and the breakdown underneath Brazil for sales, production, and administration, again, following the structure of your underlying database, in this case, HFM. So quickly show you some other dashboards. A lot of our customers use the rows and the columns. So let me give you an example of that. A typical setup that our customers like to use is to combine rows and columns with a sort of a trend line. So if I would select operating income, then you would see the trend line following operating income for actual last year and budget. If you have additional categories in your underlying HFM model, that will also show. You can also see that we pick up the point of view from the previous report. That's a setting. If you want the report by default to open up on the top entity, that is, of course, also possible. The flexibility will also show you that you don't have to combine it with a trend line. You can also combine it, for instance, with a bridge report. The same thing happens if I select operating income. You'll see, in this case, it runs from forecast to actual, and I could also change that back to budget, of course. Being conscious of the time, there's two more things I want to share with you, and obviously we can go into a lot more detail when you want a sort of a one-on-one demo from the system. Please let us know. The thing that I wanted to share with you are the commenting and the storyboards. So the storyboards, like Alfonso mentioned, is our book capability. You can build as many storyboards as you want, and that those storyboards can be shared with the end user. So if I click, for instance, on the monthly board pack AC, then you'll see this has 7 different dashboards. If I go back to my demo monthly reporting pack, you can see that it has 15 different dashboards. We can share these dashboards by email. We can print them, export them to PowerPoint, PDF, or Excel. Obviously, you can delete them, but we can also play them, which is a very powerful way of sharing information in a structured way with your end user community. So as you can see, it's building up the storyboard with the 15 dashboards. As soon as it's built up, we are able to play the dashboard in full glory by just pressing the play button. We could also change some of the categories or the products or the dimensionality if you want to. And now it's running these 15 dashboards in a sequence that I can service with the with a media player at the top. So if I browse through my sequence, I can go to the next report in line, but it's still interactive. So if I want to learn more about what's going on in the United States, I can drill on the bar and I can drill down, in this case, on what's happening with my gross margin in the US. I can change that, look at my cost structure in the US, drill back up to the top entity. So the dashboard is still fully engageable by the end user, although we are in the presentation mode. So this is the way that you can share information with end users in a structured way. I'm not going to browse through all the 15 different dashboards because that would take too much time. But as you can see, we're building up some examples of the different sort of output that you could manufacture from CXO. And nobody shared that with you yet, but building the content in CXO is also extremely easy to do. If you are an expert in building smart view reports, you would pick this up with a one-day training. And building up a dashboard in cxo-cockpit can really be done if you use our standard templates within minutes of your time, because all the intellectual property is already built inside the templates. Conscious of the time, the final thing I want to share with you is the commenting piece. So we're going back to the home page, and as you can see, comments are stored at the bottom of our screen, and they listen to the point of view. They call point of view comments. So if I select August in the point of view, you would see that the comments will disappear on our screen. If I go back to September, then the comments will be there again. As the group controller, I'm looking at my comments from a group perspective, but I can also see the comments from a subsidiary perspective and see that United States, South America, and Asia have already promoted their comments for this particular period. But I'm missing Europe. So what I can quickly do is go to Europe and check if there's any comments there for this particular period on this particular dashboard, and they're not. So what I can quickly do is copy, just show you, I copied them from the previous period, which is a very neat functionality. And I can just quickly edit them and say, okay, this is my September comments, save. The next time, as a group controller, I'm opening up my screen, you can see that the point of view comments and the subsidiary comments of Europe have been added, because now we have 4 different commenting boxes. Final thing is, as a group controller, I can also copy the point of view comments from my underlying entities into my own commenting area as well, and start editing them if I want to. Commenting is not necessarily being stored at the bottom. We can also have, for instance, commenting on line item as well. So you can add comments on a line item, and in the soon-to-be released version, Marcel, we also have cell comments that you can create per cell. This is my part of the presentation. Alfonso, I think you want to check out the questions.
Yeah, if you want to just go back to the question screen and our contact details just while I look at the questions. So yeah, there's a couple of questions that have come in from the audience. The first question is, in this particular webinar, you've discussed HFM, and also we noticed S-based connectivity. Does that mean CXO connects to other data sources too?
Yeah, let me pick that question up, Alfonso, because that's a very relevant question indeed. We're focusing on the HFM community in this particular webinar, but over the last 11 years, we have basically developed connectors to all the leading EPM systems in the market space. So HFM, S-base are very important connectors for us, but we also have connectors to OneStream, to Tagetic, to TM1, to SAP BPC, SAP BW, to name a few. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. Whilst I read out the next one, because we're just wrapping up now, I've got one more question. Maybe go to the holding screen where our contact details are. So if anybody wishes to contact us, they can see our details and maybe scribble down our details. But the final question is, the system looks like it needs to be managed and changed by IT. So if I was a group controller and I wanted to make a change on a dashboard, can I do that myself, or do I need to put in a change request to IT? What is your view, Jean-Pierre, or maybe Marcel, in terms of managing CXO?
Yeah, that's a good point as well. It's a question we hear a lot, and as well subtly mentioned in one of the slides, it's definitely something our customers maintain within the finance department. So our software product is really developed with the finance person in the back of our minds. If you can build a smart view report, you are really able to work with CXO, build and maintain content that you can then share with the team of users. So it's definitely focused on the finance team to build and to maintain.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. I think we're going to wrap up now. That's 30 minutes in. Marcel, thank you very much for the functional description of connecting to HFM. And thanks to the audience for your participation and questions. This recording will be available for those who wish to see it again, and our details are on the screen, which we'll leave up for a couple of moments longer. So thank you very much and goodbye.